Tony, who is next?
Next, I have one from the postman of the Discworld, Moist von Lipwig.
Okay.
If you could change anything in the Sylvanas v Tyrande side plot in Shadowlands, what would you change? He goes into a bit more about what he would change, but I figured we'd start with your take.
All right, so there's one of two options here. Option number one is if they meet, Sylvanas has to beat the living shit out of her. That's option number one. Option number two is they never meet. Because no matter where you put... Well, actually, there is a third option, but this would mean that they meet right at the end of the Shadowlands story and Tyrande actually kills Sylvanas. Those are your three options. If you want to keep the meeting between Sylvanas and Tyrande where it was, Tyrande has to lose miserably. Okay? Because Sylvanas is ultimately fighting with the power of the Maw, with the power of Zuvul flowing through her. Okay? So, if Blizzard really wanted to sell the power level of the Jailer, then Tyrande stands up to Sylvanas. She's like, I've got all the power of my goddess. We're going to go fucking nuts here. And Sylvanas like, get fucked, right? And just beats the living shit out of her. If you want to keep it there, which I think is a bad idea. I don't think that should have happened there. The one that I would have gone for instead is the one where Sylvanas and Tyrande never actually meet one another. Mainly because it's such a breaking of the immersive walls that you have around Elune when Elune's champion shows up to enact her revenge. And Blizzard put themselves in this weird position where they clearly don't want to kill Sylvanas, right? They don't want to kill Sylvanas, but they also don't want to seem like, they don't want to make Elune seem like she's not powerful enough. So instead, they do this weird thing where first Sylvanas wins, then Sylvanas goes, fuck it, I'm over this. And Sylvanas flies off. Then Tyrande flies after her, knocks her to the ground, basically is in a position to kill her, but then Elune goes, never mind. And it's kind of like, wait, what the fuck's going on here? So... Tyrande says when she is on her knee before she flies off to tackle Sylvanas back to the ground, Tyrande says, my life for hers. So Tyrande she's made her decision. I am willing to die, but this bitch dies now. Elune be like, yeah, all right, bitch, you go, girl. And fucking office Tyrande in the air after Sylvanas. Knock Sylvanas to the ground. Tyrande's winning, Tyrande's now in the upward position. Things are just about to get spicy. And then Elune goes, never mind. I've changed my fucking mind for some reason. I'm just going to remove all my power from you. And Sylvanas is like, lul, kappa. And then she fucks off. And it's like, what's the story? And then moments later, Elune's like, Tyrande could live, but it's really up to her. It's her decision if she wants to live or die. It's like, no, wait. 10 minutes ago, she made the decision that she was willing to die to take Sylvanas' life. And you said, never mind. I won't let you give your life to kill Sylvanas. Now, you're saying, if she wants to die and keep my power, she can. Or she can just let it go. It's really up to her. And so you can't have both. Either it's not up to her, or it is up to her. If it is up to her, then you just broke your fucking rules. If it isn't up to her, then she has to die. Because, you kill everyone that takes your power. So it's such a weird... The fact that they meet, you're almost always between a rock and a hard place. Either you do the one thing you don't want to do, or you do the other thing that you don't want to do. So it would have been better if they just never met. So you let Tyrande go through the Shadowlands, fuck shit up as the Night Warrior, but she never actually gets to Sylvanas. She never actually gets to kill Sylvanas, gets to fight Sylvanas. And I know it makes for a really cool cinematic, and it was a really cool cinematic. The problem is, it brings so many more problems with it. The one that I would have gone for, like I said, is where they never meet. Tyrande basically hunts for Sylvanas, just always one step behind. And then you maybe do where we finally kill Zuval. You have this tremendous cinematic where Zuval is on his last fucking legs, or Zuval is winning, the players are losing, and then Tyrande steps in with the power of Elune, and she just fucking slams Zuval. She just literally, she nukes him with the power of Elune, and that is the thing that kills Zuval, thereby showcasing the immense power of this upstart goddess, Elune. But again, you keep Sylvanas safe. She's not dying because you don't want her to die for some reason. And also, this is the moment that Tyrande can let go because she did ultimately enact her revenge, right? She did get the one that effectively gave the order to burn down her home. That would have been the one that I would have gone for, if I'm honest with you. I definitely do not like the one that they chose to go for. But what was his? What was Moist's idea for how they should have gone?
Okay, to continue on with that, he says, personally, I think the story had a lot of potential, although he couldn't really articulate why it rubbed him the wrong way. He liked it, even though he also hated it, because it mirrored a narrative about two rival characters, you know, a trope that's pretty common,
Yeah.
who are in either two different fronts in a conflict or opposing sides of a conflict.
Yeah.
It looks like, yeah, that was kind of his take, is that he couldn't exactly put down why he did not
Like it.
why he didn't like it, but
Yeah.
it was an interesting spectacle to watch.
Oh, that's the
Um,
thing. It was a spectacle. That's the thing. It was spectacle. It was, what's the word? It was,
it was insubstantial. I mean, it was just there kind of to showcase how strong Sylvanas is,
yeah.
instead of how strong a Elune charged Tyrande should be.
Well, the thing
Um,
for me is even if you don't have that cinematic, the story plays out no differently. Like that cinematic does not affect the story in any way, shape, or form. It is quite literally just a cinematic of coolness. Oh, look, we have this cool fight between Tyrande and Sylvanas. Well, the fight leads to a pretty anticlimactic end, right? Also, a pretty
yeah,
unbelievable end, because this leaves a lot of people with a lot of questions. Why did Elune remove her power? Why didn't Elune want Sylvanas to be dead? It doesn't change the story. If anything, it just muddies the story a little bit more, because if you remember, the very reason Elune gave her power to Tyrande in the first place was so that Tyrande could enact revenge upon Sylvanas. That's literally why Tyrande took the power of Elune, was to kill Sylvanas, and then that doesn't happen because Elune decides, no, never mind. I don't want this to happen. Why didn't you decide this earlier? Like, what the fuck? Why, when Tyrande asked for the power of the Night Warrior, didn't you just go, no, I don't think I will? Okay, so it is that entire storyline is there just for, oh my god, there's a beautiful English word for it, and I'm completely blanking on it. When you're doing something just for like shiny, superficial beauty, it's empty.
superfluous.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. I use the word so often. I think it starts with a D, but I can't for the life of me get the fucking word now. I'm just blanking.
Well, Moist did reply in YouTube chat, so let me build on what he had said. He actually built on his question with, do you think the conflict between the two could have been a way to explore the nature of Elune and Zuval and the other beings of their kind? And honestly, that made me really start thinking, what if they had played off Tyrande and Zuval or Sylvanas as the proper like vessels of these godlike beings' power, and instead of us taking maybe Zuval down, it was an expansion where maybe we tried to save Tyrande by completing the deal that she made with Elune, or severing Sylvanas's tie to Zuval somehow, and basically robbing him of his only true agent that he could work through.
Yeah.
Because the rest of his agents before Sylvanas turned Anduin were still fellow Eternal ones that were restricted to operating in the Shadowlands.
So I would say there is so many ways in which Blizzard could go with this story. And yeah, I don't see this story as bad, but I actually just thought of this. Do you guys realize that the entire story of the Night Warrior is wholly inconsequential? The entirety of it. From the moment that we did the scenario where Tyrande takes the power of the Night Warrior to the moment that Tyrande loses the power of the Night Warrior, it changes absolutely nothing about the story. Not a single thing is changed about the story whatsoever. The story plays out exactly the way that it plays out, whether Tyrande becomes the Night Warrior or not. Nothing happens. Nothing. Literally, there's not a single thing that changes in the story whatsoever.
No, it has no consequences to it. We're told that the ritual enacts a heavy toll, and in the end, Elune is just like, oh no, she can choose to live if she wants. She doesn't have to go through with the whole burning herself out with Elune's power. And typically, rituals like this, or like deals made with higher powers like this, have steep cost and certain conditions that have to be met, and no way to really wiggle out of them. And in this case, Blizzard just made some they didn't even make a weird caveat where they're like, well, technically there's this clause that says she can get her way out of it. She straight up, the rule was, you get my power, you're going to die, kill Sylvanas, that's why you had my power.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, Elune withdrew that power.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to it. So first and foremost, the only thing that came out of that is Elune admits that the Night Elves are her favorite people. Well, it's her most beloved people, which is interesting, but, you know, you could have learned that in a million other ways. And the Tear of Elune that's recreated. Again, we've seen Tears of Elune be created in a multitude of other ways. So the Tear of Elune could once again have been created in whichever fucking way they wanted. So the story, the entirety of the Night Warrior storyline, from the moment that she turns into the Night Warrior to the moment that she turns into just normal Tyrande again, is 100% unnecessary. It does not add to the story. It does not take away from the story. That's not because it couldn't be. It could have been one of the greatest story arcs. This could have been like on the level of Arthas level story arcs. Can you imagine everything that you could do with this storyline? But for some reason, Blizzard just gives up. Like, they just give up at the beginning of the storyline. They're like, nah, never mind, screw it. We're just gonna let Elune take her power back, and we're done with this storyline now. Thanks for playing. So that is super, super, super fucking annoying when you think about it. When you start breaking it down and you just realize that entire story arc. And I feel like that is a very, like, that's a big no-no in stories. You should never have story arcs and storylines in a story that means nothing. It's sort of the equivalent of sex scenes just for the sake of having a sex scene in your movie. And we've all seen films like this. It's particularly rampant in like low budget films where the sex scene adds nothing to the story, nor does it take anything away from the story. It is literally just there to say, we've got a sex scene and you can see some boobies. That's it, right? I was like, wow, what the fuck was I watching this for? These two people could have just as easily sat there having tea and it would have been exactly the same outcome no matter what. Like, the outcome would not have changed at all here. Why did you bang? I don't understand why there was banging going on. So yeah, it does kind of, it gets annoying, right? When you realize this is, and then again, I think is evidence that Blizzard had a lot more plans for the stories of Shadowlands, and they just never actually got to them. Anyways, thank you for the question. I really appreciate that. That was a lot of fun to talk about and sort of think about. So I really appreciate that.